you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to know me, cause I know then you'll see you can be true, you can be true. I want you to see what I see in us, something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. We've both been there before. When a love shuts the door, it's a losing game. It's a losing game. But this time it's more than another lot of war. This ain't the same. This ain't the same. They say love heals all. It makes it all alright. In time, in time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. Feel so right. You feel so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying, there's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we're meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Andy, that is Aidan, and we are back pretending to know about football. Tom's in the comments, unfortunately won't be able to see. I'm at work, it's coming home. Aidan, is it coming home?
Oh, I think it could be. I don't know. France next. I don't know. We'll talk about today's game and then I'll decide after. I think.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. We'll be having a little review of the match tonight, and then we'll have a look ahead to England versus France. In the other games, though, before we talk about England-Senegal, what would you say about the other three games that have taken place? Business as usual?
Yeah, business as usual. Was it Netherlands 3-1? Mexico. Argentina was, what was it?
2-1.
2-1. And then obviously France doing their business. Fucking Mbappe turning it on again. And then England, obviously with another decent performance. Well, yeah, decent performance.
Yeah, it's easy to not get carried away this time around, considering who we're potentially going to be facing in the future. But criticism around Southgate's team selection at the beginning, I think it's fair to say that we weren't excited by the team. Henderson, I think, was very much overlooked. Me personally, you know what I'm going to say, the lack of Rashford was a bit worrying, but it wasn't so much the lack of Rashford that I was worried about. I was just happy to see that Sterling wasn't in the lineup. But
yeah,
I am now consumed with guilt because Sterling isn't in the lineup for a different reason. Before the game started, it turned out that he'd actually been left out due to personal reasons and was due to fly home. I haven't got a statement or anything to show on the screen because it's fairly recent news. But yeah, Raheem Sterling, for anyone who doesn't know, has gone home due to a robbery that's taken place at his house in London. So, wishing him the best. Hopefully, it's all fine. It is a shame to see him go, regardless of whether you like him in the team or not. Hopefully, that's all sorted and under control now. But yeah, let's get into it then, Aiden. Give me your thoughts on how the team performed overall. Should we look at the first half first of all? Do you think? What was you thinking at half time?
Yeah. Let's start with the first half. So, I think in the first 15 minutes, I think we looked a little bit shaky, and I think was lucky, to be fair, to go into half time leading. I think Senegal had plenty of chances. That, to be honest, I think if France were giving them chances, I think they'd have taken them. They'd have taken them chances. Pickford pulled off a quality save. But yeah, obviously, I don't want to slate us too much because I don't think we was that bad. I just think we just started very slow,
Mm-hmm.
and Senegal didn't. But that's the concerning thing. We can't be doing that if we're playing France, obviously, in the next game. But no, I say overall we did quite well. Bellingham, it hurts me to say this because he's a blue nose and he's come from Birmingham and whatever else. But I think he's going to be one of the best players in an England shirt that I think I've ever seen. Just looking at him today, he's 19 years old, and today it was just class. It was just unreal. The link up between him and Foden, the link up between him and Henderson, Harry Kane was getting involved. I think it was an average first half. Average first half. I think was lucky to be leading in at half time.
Yeah, I think I agree with you fully on Bellingham. He made almost everything that happened happen. Like, we was worried about not picking him in our team of the tournament because of, he might get let down by his team, which on Saturday could be yet to be seen, or his lack of game time. But I think it's fair to say he's put his name first on the team sheet for the game against France.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think if comes Saturday where we play France and you don't see Bellingham in that starting lineup, I think there'll be an absolute uproar.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be, because I think he has been our most consistent player, apart from maybe Maguire.
Mm-hmm. Well, Maguire, he had a bit of a shaky start early on when it seemed, I don't remember the lad's name, the Senegal striker just walked through Stones and Maguire. That was a bit shaky, but yeah, exactly like you said, these slow starts that England are having. I don't think it was against Iran so much, but certainly against USA it was slow. Against Wales it was unbelievably slow, and tonight again just such a slow start. And I think if you saw the first half highlights with everything except the goals, you'd think that 2-0 was an unfair scoreline.
Yeah. So
2-0 at half-time was very lucky, like you say, and then the third goal was just purely there to kill it off. I expected more goals with, Grealish and Rashford coming on, but either way, the job's done. We're in the next round, and we're playing France next. Who would you drop? Who would be the first player or players that you dropped next week based on tonight's performance?
I don't think there's anyone you can drop after tonight, is there? I think the only negative was probably the slow start, but then if we're basing it off of that, you'd have to change the whole 11, wouldn't you? So I think other than that, mate, I can't say I'd change too much, to be fair to you. I think I'd probably keep it. I'd keep it the same. Obviously, I'm still dubious on Harry Kane.
Yeah. I think if he hadn't have scored tonight, you could make a case for him being dropped, but
Yeah, but obviously now he's scored. You think, well, it's Kane now. He's hit the back of the net. Maybe this is going to give him the confidence. He's going to carry it on. But
yeah, I think Saka.
obviously, you can't be certain.
I think Saka didn't have his best game, and that's his second game that he's had where he's not been at his best. I think he got wound up a little bit as well by some of the Senegalese players, so he was very lucky actually not to be booked in the first half.
He got himself on the score sheet as well, though, did he?
He did, but I don't think a goal is enough to justify. Like Harry Kane got a goal, but you wouldn't say he was our standout player, and
Oh no, he's not a standout player by all means,
but
you know, you look at his positioning. His positioning for that goal, he got himself into them areas, and he was getting himself into them areas quite a lot. He just couldn't quite connect on some of the crosses. Like I think the first cross from Bellingham, when Mendy came out and missed it, Saka didn't really challenge for it, but it was in the right space.
yeah,
So it's a positive sign from him that he's getting in all these areas and causing problems. But yeah, again, it's a weird one. I don't think I'd really change anything. I think if you're going to change anything, you'd have to do it tactically for whatever France are doing.
hmm
You'd have to look at what France are doing and then go, right, maybe we need to do this for this game now. And look, I know you played well last game, but I think this guy's going to be the better option because they're weak in this area.
hmm I think as well,
So-
for me, Foden was one of them players where you look at just the scores and the assists and everything. He got 2 assists, didn't he? But
Yeah.
there were a lot of times where he wasn't quite making that run forward. He'd give the ball, but then when it comes to the go, he would kind of, it's like he was stuck in the mud almost. So I'd like to see, even though he got 2 assists, I'd like to see more in his movement because he could have created so much more than he did tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing with Foden because he is such a creative player, and I don't really know why he was lacking that spark tonight.
hmm
It was weird for him, but it just shows, doesn't it? He wasn't really creating much and still managed to get 2 assists. So
Well, that's it.
it's a weird one, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Ben Ray in the comments is saying if you'd have said before kickoff would win 3-0, I'd have snatched your hand off. But I'm sure only England can make a 3-0 win look so boring. We did it again. We did it on was it Sunday night against Wales? We made that 3-0 look boring. So
yeah.
Sean Dixon says no more Grealish. Yeah, he didn't do much tonight. I agree. Kyle Walker, Ben Ray says Kyle Walker looked off pace. I don't know about that actually. He did take on people, but I think you've got the fullbacks of Senegal who are also very quick as well. So he was just a bit. I think he was just matched. I don't think he was out of his depth. But
If anything, it's probably Gareth Southgate telling him just to be cautious of what runs he's making.
mhm.
Purely because Senegal literally, I think all they wanted to do was do the counter attack.
Yeah,
So I think Southgate probably said to the fullbacks, "Look, be wary. If you're going to go forward, but make sure you do it at the right times and make sure you can recover the ball if you need to. If you need to get back and help the team out, so don't get too carried away bombing forward when you've got Saka, Foden, Bellingham, and Kane up there. It's not a big issue if we can't get that far forward."
you're right because Luke Shaw's always getting forward for us. But tonight, how often did you see him in their half? Not very often. So
No.
yeah. So man of the match. Who was man of the match in the end? I didn't see.
No, I didn't see it, but it had to be Bellingham, surely.
It had to be.
I'm sure it had to be Bellingham. I'm going to have to try and look.
Yeah, have a look at that. Saturday is the next game for England, 7:00 against France. And yeah, I like to sing "It's Coming Home" before the World Cup even begins, but for me now, "It's Coming Home" starts after we've got our first big scalp of a tournament. So in the Euros, when we knocked Germany out, that for me is when it was coming home. When we finally overcome our penalty shootout woes against Colombia in the last World Cup, it's coming home. But I haven't been able to utter the words and mean them just yet. But if we can beat France on Saturday, then I think we can beat anyone.
If we can beat France, mate, then we've got every hope.
The slow starts that we've been having don't feel like a plan, which is scary because I don't know. Like if you have a look at the first half and the chances that Senegal created, France not only will create more chances than them, but they'll score more of them as well.
Yeah.
One sloppy pass that Mbappe picks up, or Rabiot takes the ball away from your midfield, and then he's got Mbappe, Giroud, and whoever else ahead of him. You're just in trouble. Who do they have playing on the other side to Mbappe? Dembele, and then Griezmann through the middle as well, isn't it? In the cam. So yeah, we're going to be in big trouble if we don't shore up. I've said it before. I wasn't worried about England's defence in any game because we've been so assured, but we're playing France next, and that is scary.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge game. Like, we have to turn it on for that game.
Absolutely.
That we can't. We have to get rid of this slow start. We just need to get our heads on, focus up, and play football.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't, one mistake, mate, our first mistake, Mbappe will punish us.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully Gareth Southgate's drilling it into him over the next, how many days? 6 days.
Yeah, he's
6 days to drill it into him.
He's the top goal scorer now, Mbappe, after his 2 today against Poland. So
what's that him on now? 5, isn't it?
That's him on 5 for this World Cup, and he now has 9 World Cup goals in total, and that's
just ridiculous.
That is absolutely outrageous.
That's stupid.
I can't see anything other than a France win on Saturday personally, but
yeah, no, I agree.
Apart from USA, I think we underestimated USA. Other than the USA game, we've not really put too much of a foot wrong.
No.
What I want to talk about next, let me just catch up with the comments. Ben Ray says there's a lack of desire to push forward, which there is, but you can see them trying to push forward, but the balls just look strange. Like they're trying things that are going to be less successful more often than a simple pass, which is good to create chances, but just remember who you're coming up against. Teela says, I don't think England with delayed starts. It's just England with delayed starts. If you think about the amount of games that nothing happens. I mean, yeah, that's true.
It's not... I don't think we're talking about in the slow start sense of getting a goal straight away. I think when we say slow start, I think it's more what I mean anyway. It's more of the fact that we're not switched on straight away. We're slow starting to the game. Like, we just don't look like we're with it immediately, and there's just all of a sudden we're having these problems and we're causing our own issues. That's what I mean by slow starting.
Yeah.
And obviously there is that as well, that factor, but it's not just purely the fact that we're not going in the first 5 minutes and scoring a goal.
Yeah, I mean, I've never personally been a big fan of the playing out from the back style of football anyway, but I think what you've now got to take into consideration is if your game plan doesn't go as you first intend, you've got an extra 30 minutes of football to play. So, yeah. But yeah, like you said, how switched off were Maguire and Stones for that first chance to come through? How switched off were they when the misplaced pass came in and the Senegal players picked it up? Even though that was a clear and obvious handball. I don't know how it wasn't stopped for that handball, but yeah, you have got to be alert from minute 1. I don't mind a slow start. I don't mind a 0. If you said to me 0-0 at halftime against France, I'll bite your hand off right now.
Yeah,
because then you know that you've got 15 minutes to feel out the second half, get a goal, hopefully. But I don't know. The slow starts are not an issue if your defence are holding up fine and you're at least like creating chances, I think.
Yeah, if we're alert.
Exactly.
And like switched on.
Ben Ray, we have such creative talent that it doesn't seem to be being utilised at the top of the field. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Saka was the only one for me who I think looked a bit out of his depth in this game. But I don't know. I don't know who I'd start there. I mean, if Rashford was going to start, I wouldn't put him on the right because that's not his strong area at all. Foden, I don't think really put much of a foot wrong. So Saka is joint second highest goal scorer with Rashford, by the way. Yeah, but played more minutes. So Saka has more minutes than Rashford. Yeah, Paulina said it. There you go. Yeah, any... What was I going to say next? I'll go back. I did say that business as usual. If you look back at our prediction for the brackets, myself, I've got England and France going through, Netherlands, Argentina. And then it's the same with Aiden's predictions there. England, France, Netherlands, Argentina.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's games is Japan versus Croatia, South Korea versus Brazil. That's the only place we differ in our predictions. You've gone with Croatia over Japan. And I'm going to see the Japanese spirit fighting strong, hopefully, and go through to the next round against Brazil. Morocco against Spain on Tuesday. And Portugal versus... Who are they playing again? Switzerland. So we've got no football on Wednesday or Thursday. I can't believe we're going to have 2 days without football. It's going to feel like an eternity. But we are going to be back for another episode 9 on Thursday, to discuss everything that's happened. Have a bit more of an in-depth look about if there's any injuries or anything that's going on with the England versus France game, any other controversies and so on. I kind of think Rashford could do better than Saka if he'd get the game time. Yeah, I'd like to see Rashford start again. But
yeah, like you say though, it's a tough one because you can't put Rashford out on the right, can you?
Yeah, I mean, when he came on tonight, we were 3-0 up, so we weren't looking to score goals as much as just keep hold of the ball and not lose it. There's one thing that I noticed on the game tonight as well that I wanted to talk about, which I've never ever seen before. The possession stats, right? When have you ever seen the possession stats come up split into 3 segments? Home team, away team, and in contest. Have you ever seen that before?
In contest?
Yeah, in the first half, the possession stats came up. If you're watching the ITV coverage, it said 60% England, 25% Senegal, and 15% in contest. What does that even mean?
What? In contest? Would that be like out of play? No.
I think... Yeah, Sean, I saw it and thought it was really weird. I don't understand that because surely if a ball is in contest, you'd think between, like, if someone goes in for a tackle and the ball is sort of kicked away from the area, that
A loose ball, yeah.
loose balls, yeah, that's going to be a fraction of a second. Like, you can't be accounting for that time.
Ali says he's seen it a few games.
Yeah.
He's seen it a few games.
And how they used to calculate the possession stats as well was how many passes the team had completed. So if both teams had completed 400 passes each, then it would be 50-50 possession, regardless of how much time you had on the ball, which is another strange fact. But yeah, I think there was just testing there. There were so many things that flashed up on the screen tonight as well during the game. I think they were just testing their new overlays.
Yeah. So, this looks all right, doesn't it? Yeah, let's stick with this.
Yeah. Another thing as well about France, Giroud actually scored to beat Omri's record. So
Mental.
I think they're firing on all cylinders again, France. I've got them down as the eventual winners, so I don't see England beating them, but by God, I'll be cheering on England to win. We're toying with the idea of doing a watch-along for the game. Aiden, sadly, is at work. I'll be here potentially doing a watch-along. If you would be interested in seeing a watch along, let us know in the comments, because if there's interest, I'll be happily do it. If not, then I might just do something after the game instead, or we might just both do something after the game later on.
Yeah.
They also did ball controlled between defensive lines. Yeah, stats can be anything you want them to be, and I just thought that was strange. I just thought I had to bring it up because I'd never seen that sort of thing before. Ali also says Brazil are playing really good. Yeah, I think Brazil need to get their rhythm back after the losing to Cameroon the other day. Brazil's depth, it doesn't matter which 11 Brazil pick from their full squad, they should be going out there and playing unbelievable football. I think they're under pressure from their fans a lot more than England are from their fans to win a World Cup. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, because this is like the best squad they've had in how many years?
Since 2002, I'd say, at least.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, the memories of Ronaldinho lobbing Seaman are still fresh in the memory, even that was 20 years ago.
That will never leave my memory.
Year 6 at school, gathering around for a special event in the assembly hall, and just...
I remember.
Oh, that was horrible.
Oh,
that was horrible.
It was
just going to go back to what you said about Jude Bellingham. Do you think that Jude Bellingham... There's always this debate about England. Gerrard was the best. No, Lampard was the best. Do you think that the conversation in a few years' time will be Jude Bellingham was better than Gerrard and Lampard? It has to be yes. It has to be yes.
I'm gonna say yes. I think he's like a mix of both of them. Like I saw someone say earlier, he's like the perfect box-to-box midfielder, and he is. He can do everything. He can tackle, he can run, he can pass, he can score. Like, he can dribble. Like, I don't think there's much that he can't do. And I think he has more of a chance of winning big trophies, World Cups. You know, yeah. I think there's no stopping him. I think he could go to the very top and become one of the best that England's ever seen. I certainly say he'd be better than Gerrard and Lampard, especially Gerrard, the knob.
Yeah, I think tonight he was getting all over the ball. Like, he was picking it up on the left hand side of the box, on the right hand side. He was getting in all sorts of positions. So I think he's done himself massive credit today. Like, if you didn't already have faith in him, like, his work tonight was just unbelievable, and he has to be first name on the team sheet against France, deservedly so.
His work rate is just insane. Like, it's mad. He could run constantly for 90 minutes, I think, full speed, non-stop. Because his work rate is just that good.
Yeah, what we'll do in terms of the team lineups, what we predict on Thursday's episode, we'll predict. Now, I don't know, how do you think it would be done best? Anyone who wants to get involved in the comments, let us know. Do you think we should predict the lineup, or do we present the lineup that we would choose and why we would choose it?
Yeah, I think that one. I think pick our own lineup and then discuss as to why we chose it and changes and why. Yeah, I think that'd be the better option.
Okay.
And then after the game, when we do it on Sunday, we could look back at it and go, oh, well, Gareth went with this, the same as what I did, or he didn't quite go with this. And then we go, all right, well.
Okay.
And just basically discuss it.
Yeah, I like that idea. I do like that idea as well. We'll get our teams. We'll also get them put out on Twitter, and then you can say whether you'd have picked them, whether you won't have picked them. Hopefully, on Twitter, you tend to get a few whispers, don't you, of who's going to be in the team. Like this morning, it was confirmed that Saka was going to be in the team. So it's always good to read these bits of information early. We'll wait until then to do our score predictions as well, because there'll be a lot of training this week on both sides. Injuries can quite easily be picked up. And yeah, I mean, we haven't really got much else now, mate. Now that these knockout games are just everything's business as usual, so it makes our life a bit more easy or difficult, depending on how you look at it. There's not all that much to talk about, mate. Is there anything?
No.
Is there anything that you've seen that that you want to bring up? Aston Villa. Actually, here's one. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of women's football, but Man United did get an emphatic defeat over Aston Villa women the other day. I will say that. In a record attendance as well, I'll have you know. So, if Man United women... No, I don't care about women's football if Man United women lose, but when they're top of the table and winning, I fucking love it. Repping that shirt, you love to see it.
There is Alicia Lehman, Villa legend already. That's what I'm going to say. Alicia Lehman, beautiful soul.
Yeah, she's got an unbelievably amazing free kick technique. You wouldn't believe it.
Yes. I would like to learn about them free kick techniques.
It's all about the angle, Aiden.
It really is. But yeah, this is what I'm going to say. Jude Bellingham, apparently, we'll talk about transfer news the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Man City are looking to, and I've heard this a lot. Apparently, Jack Grealish's agents come out and said this, and Grealish himself has spoke to people. Apparently, Man City are willing to offload Jack Grealish to fund the money towards Jude Bellingham in January or in the summer.
Okay.
Now, if that's the case, Villa need to be fucking jumping on this because I want my beautiful boy back in claret and blue.
Well,
I just felt like I needed to get him back in there before I forgot about it.
I've got to call bullshit on Man City having to sell someone to raise the funds. I think I don't think they're shy of a bob or two.
No. Or maybe FFP.
But yeah, that's going to be the only thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so they'll have to sell money to raise money to be able to stay within that bullshit rule.
What do you think his price tag would be, Bellingham, now? What do you think that, considering the price of Erling Haaland, considering the price of Jadon Sancho and Ousmane Dembele, what price do you think Dortmund could command for Bellingham?
Bellingham? Fucking hell.
If Jadon Sancho's 87 million, Erling Haaland was... Well, he was quite cheap because he was out of contract in 1 year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was only 50 million. It was in his release clause.
So...
He had a release clause of 50 million.
And Ousmane Dembele, what was he? Was he like 80 as well? When he went to...
Something like 106 or something.
When he went to Barcelona?
Yeah, it's like 100 and something. But I think Jude Bellingham... You're not gonna get him for less than 100 million. You can't. Like it'd be mad to think you're gonna get him for less than that.
January, summer.
I don't think January. I think summer.
Yeah.
I think summer. I think because now I think Man City are gonna start looking at replacing KDB soon.
Mm-hmm.
They want to find his replacement, and I think he might be the man. Potentially.
Potentially. I never thought of it that way. I didn't think of it about the KDB.
Yeah, that's what they're slowly doing, mate.
He's self-admitted he's old, so
yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, he looks like he's giving up. So Pep will be seeing that, thinking, "Fucking hell, mate, I don't want your attitude around here. Let's get Big Jude in." Yeah,
Dortmund are they're very good at what they do. They're very clever. They won't get rid of Jude Bellingham in January. I think, let's say they wanted 100 million. Borussia Dortmund are the kind of people that would go, you can have him in January, but he's 140 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll be very savvy with how they approach his moving on from the club. I think it's inevitable that it will happen in summer. Jude Bellingham leaves.
Yeah, I think he's got to.
Hopefully, United can come in. I mean, he did have a tour of Old Trafford before he went to Dortmund, so only really he knows and the club knows what happened. But he said no to Man United and another English club, I believe, just so that he knows, going to Dortmund, he knows he'd get the game time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if Man United can do something, let's have a look.
I think it's. I could see him in Man City.
I could see Man City going in for him because Man City, that's just what they do. That's their thing.
Yeah.
Being able to go over the top and buy these players for ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
But I just hope that Bellingham's sensible enough to not just pick Man City for that reason alone. I don't know. There's rumours. Rumours don't mean anything at the minute. I heard that the favourite to get him would be Liverpool, but
Yeah, I don't see why not. Liverpool would be another one. I could see him at Liverpool. I think there would be the two clubs, Liverpool and Man City, where he'd fit in perfectly. Because he'd be. Sorry, guys. He'd be Henderson's replacement. Henderson's the same style, box to box, score. He can get in the box and score the odd goal. He creates so many chances, opens up space for players. Like Henderson's that player that you don't think he does much, but when you actually analyse the game, you see that he does a hell of a lot. And Bellingham, he doesn't hide it; he just shows that he does a hell of a lot. So I think he'd be a perfect replacement for Henderson.
And their joint celebration tonight after the first goal was a bit passionate, wasn't it? So
yeah,
that's maybe what he whispered over to him, he's saying, "Come on, lad, come replace me."
Just hey lad, it's your time to captain Liverpool to the Premier League. Come take the captain's armband because I'm sick of it. Klopp's doing me nothing.
Jurgen Klopp, actually, that's a good unintentional segue. Jurgen Klopp's representation has denied being linked with the Germany job, the Germany national team. I don't think is it confirmed that Hansi Flicker's gone yet? I think it's just unconfirmed.
Oh. I didn't even know he'd been on his way out. I'd imagine he would have been after getting knocked out.
I think he's under pressure, but I don't think he's definitely gone yet. But yeah, apparently Klopp's representatives have completely ruled out a move for him there. So
yeah, no, he won't. He's just signed a new deal with Liverpool, hasn't he?
I don't know.
Not long ago.
No, not that I can remember seeing myself, but I don't. The only time I really keep up with Jurgen Klopp is when he comes out with a new excuse for losing a game. But
yeah, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, my mate.
That was Geordie.
Fuck off.
Yeah. On the subject of transfers, there was again whispers about Cody Gakpo to Man United, and it surprised me because they said that they would demand 50 million, which was strange because he was like 40 million when we first wanted him. So I can't see the price being that low for him. But if it is, get him.
If it is, they need to bid now. Villa needs to bid now.
And he was apparently, I can't remember the source, but he was 99.9% completed on his way to Leeds.
Yeah.
Last summer as well. So.
Gutting as a Leeds fan. I'd be fuming seeing that and thinking, how did we not get that deal over the line?
Yeah, because I don't know. He just Googled Leeds for a bit and then made the right decision. So
yeah, he looks like I'm not going to play in a shed.
He'll cost far more now, more than Anthony. I doubt that. If we can be savvy, like Anthony was only meant to cost 60 million, I think. He was offered to Man United for 60 million at the start of the window, but because we said no and then went back in with 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks of the transfer window left, they went, well, we need to replace him as well now, so we'll have 107, please. Like, that's all it was. He won't cost more than Anthony, I guarantee it. I'd be willing to put a bet on that.
We'll have to keep an eye in January and then come back to this.
Yeah, apparently January's the time. I don't know whether that will happen in January or not, but yeah, he won't be more than Anthony. And Man United wouldn't spend that type of money in January anyway. Unfortunately we are still owned by the Glazers, so I know what to expect in a January transfer window in Glazer ownership.
Because hopefully they don't go under a transfer embargo
Who?
with the club. You boys with the club being up for sale.
Well, the thing is, the club isn't officially up for sale. This is I didn't listen to the full statement because I don't like their waffle, but they said that they're seeking investment opportunities. So I think the problem is the favourite or the person who's been linked with buying Manchester United the most. His name is Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and he's like the UK's richest man. He doesn't want part ownership, and I don't think the Glazers want to sell the complete ownership either. But they want to sell off. I don't know, what is it? If you have 51%, I think they want to sell 49% off, so they have full ownership still.
Okay. They've got like what is it? What's the word? They own majority shares basically.
They own all of it now.
No, I mean, but if someone else was to like,
yeah,
buy some,
they'd want to sell off essentially 49% to help line their own pockets a little bit more.
Yeah, then they could still say they own majority of the shares if they own 51%.
But there is there will be interest to buy Man United. I mean, you look when Chelsea went up for sale. How much interest there was there? You know, individuals, consortiums of all sorts. You know, I don't think it will be difficult to sell Man United. The name.
Oh no, there'll be someone out there who would just go, yeah, I'll have that straight away.
The price tag is bigger, but that's because the name is bigger. Like, no one had heard of Chelsea before 2001 anyway. So, we'll see what happens on that. But yeah, January we're not going to spend that much money. Yeah, Villa. Is any news on Villa transfers? Still quiet?
No, mate, still quiet. I've seen about obviously Wolf and McKennie. I think that's it for Villa. I've seen a few things in this Villa group I'm in, but obviously at the minute it's just a lot of talk about Villarreal players. Because obviously we've got Unai now, so all I'm seeing is Villarreal players, and I'm just waiting to see what January brings. I think he might bring one or two in. There's a lot of talk about a lot of players leaving. Unai Emery wants to clear out all the dead wood in the club. So apparently Coutinho is one of them.
But he needs 11 players, so he can't clear them all out.
Yeah, apparently Coutinho could be going to Flamengo in Brazil in January.
Nice.
On a permanent deal. Get rid of him, get him off the books.
Retiring then?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much retiring, mate. Or he'll go to America. But yeah, there's just a lot of talk about all the deadwood getting gone, basically. That's all I'm really seeing out of Villa.
Yeah, would you say you think it's needed?
We've got we've got to find the balance. We've got a massive squad. Like, we have got a big squad, but you've got to have the depth, but we also need the quality. So I don't want to get rid of too much. And I've just seen what Sean Dixon said in the chat. Matthias Cunha from Atletico Madrid is linked with Villa. That is one I did see actually the other day. The striker from Atletico Madrid. I believe, is he Brazilian?
Yeah.
He's Brazilian, yeah. There is a bit of talk around that. That I'm unsure of. I don't know how I feel about that. Because apparently he's quality. But then, if he's that quality, why has he not been called up to the Brazil squad? Considering they don't really have that many strikers. Like, they don't have that many number 9s, do they, really? They've got Richarlison and
Jesus.
I
think he was linked with some quite big names in summer also.
Yeah, he was.
I'd say about Man United, but everyone gets linked with Man United for some reason. It's kind of stupid. But maybe someone said he misheard someone say Aston Villa. He thought they were saying Arsenal, so he said he was interested.
You're just trying to wind me up, aren't you?
Is it working?
A little bit.
I don't know. I think, like you say, for Aston Villa, like, realistically, they could go on a good cup run, but they're not going to be looking at anything more than survival this year. So maybe get to the end of the season, and then Emery decides, right, you need to go. If
I think mid-table's realistic. Mid-table, I wouldn't say top half. I'd say mid-table's realistic.
Yeah, the last thing you want to be doing is clearing out a load of people at the same time and then replacing them, because then you've got exactly the same problem. You've got a complete lack of team chemistry, a load of new players in. So maybe he might find 3 or 4 to get rid of this January.
Yeah.
One or 2 in. Who knows?
Yeah, we've got a few out on loan as well that are going to be coming back in the summer. So it's just the squad's just constantly getting fucking bigger. Like we've got Wesley out at Levante, we've got Bertrand Traore in Turkey. Like all these players who I think should be really pushing for the first team. Like Traore did all right for us considering how Paul was doing when he played. Wesley, he scored like 3 goals I think in his first couple of games. Then he got that nasty injury which saw him out for like a year and a half, and then he's not come back since. He's been on loan for 2 years, so it's a weird one. We've got the squad. I just think we needed the right manager. I think this is going to be the guy to bring out all the best in everyone, hopefully. But we'll see.
Yeah, Sean is hoping for the same. He wants his headline: "Ings, Mings, and good evenings."
I want that headline.
It might happen. We'll have to keep tabs on that for sure.
It will.
So, yeah, that just about concludes it. Then, maybe a bit of a shorter one than usual tonight.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, like I said, we need to save some stuff for Thursday when all of the first knockout games are done. We can have a look. We can have a look ahead to all the games. Have a look at particularly a look ahead to England versus France, and like I said, potentially on Saturday we could get a watch along going for the game. But we'll see. Going to get some more Twitter polls up as well for the remaining games. So if you haven't already, check us out on Twitter at Pretend Pundits. Cast your votes on who you think is going to win the game, just for a bit of fun. I think we've been right. All the predictions have been right so far, but I think tomorrow we see the first upset, if you like. I think Croatia are our favourites, but I really have belief in Japan, and I also have belief that Morocco could do a job against Spain. So
yeah, I think Morocco might do it.
Absolutely right. As long as we see good games either way, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, thank you very much. As I said, as you might have noticed in the chat, we've got our new stream elements, lovely, providing our links for us. If you have missed out on any of them chats, you can also check out the description. They provide all of our links too. My own personal links, Aidan's personal links, and all of the Pundits links are down in the description. Hit like on the video as well, just to help get us out, pushed out to as many different people as possible. And turn your notifications on when you subscribe to get notified every time we schedule a broadcast and go live.
Absolutely. Get it done.
Thank you very much, guys. Peace.
Cheers, guys.